Welcome to another Broadcast Show Live, and it's our annual festive giveaway.
You might have noticed that we're not your normal presenters. Unfortunately, John has a very serious case of man flu, so it's time to man up, keep the show on the road. We still have a great show featuring some fantastic guests for you, and we hope we can pull it off with as few glitches as possible.
So before we launch into the giveaway and introduce our guest for today, I have a possible date for your diary. Now, you may recall we chatted to Graham Reed of the ITTP, that's the Institute for Training in Television Production, last month on the show.
Well, there are still a few places left for the conference where speakers such as Jeremy Paxman and Matthew Hancock MP will be addressing the skill shortage in the industry.
Now, it's all happening on the 27th of January at Pinewood Studios. So if you have an interest in education, either as a trainer or employer, then you should take a look at ittp.co.uk.
So, on with the show. Don't forget to tweet questions and comments to @BroadcastShow during the next hour or so, and we'll do our best to answer anything thrown at us.
And as well as the guests, we have the following amazing prizes up for grabs. So in alphabetical order, they are
£100 of royalty-free music and downloads from AKM Music.
full copy of DaVinci Resolve from Blackmagic Design.
A 4-scene package to the value of £1,500, tailored to you.
6 copies of Lightworks Pro for Linux and Windows, plus 1 with a keyboard.
The Matrox Monarch HD streaming tool.
The UK's first pink poly case.
And a Samurai Blade provided by Atomos, including the Spider calibration tool.
And Wirecast Studio, the live streaming software that we use here from Telestream.
And some other little goodies thrown in there. Each winner will be writing a review in due course, so keep an eye on TV Bay magazine over the coming months. And let's welcome our first guest today, Darren Godwin. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Darren.
So you've brought along a new toy.
Absolutely.
What
yes.
what have we got? Well, let's start. Just give us a brief run through of what we're looking at.
Well, thank you very much. Last time I was here with John, we spoke about the VS4, which is a 4-input recording and streaming device. Now, this time, this is a spanking new streaming device. It's called the Monarch HD, as you've already mentioned.
Yeah. We're giving one away. Yeah.
Which we're giving away a little bit later on. What I was going to do is I was just going to run through, if it's okay, I'll just run through some of the features of the device, show you what all the holes and the buttons are about, talk about how it sort of plugs in, how you use it.
Yeah, we should be able to get a close up the front and the back as we're going along.
And then fire some questions at me. I don't know if you can see this. So on the front panel here, we've got a few little buttons. The first 2 buttons, one is for streaming, one is for recording, so it's start and stop. You then have a couple of holes here for USB sticks for recording locally onto like memory sticks or to
recording
drives.
to it rather than taking from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also have an SD slot there as well, so you can poke in an SD card and record it onto that. On the back of the box, what we have HDMI input and output. So this is how you get your feed into the device. And the HDMI output lets you view what the device is looking at. You can also use that HDMI output to daisy chain into other Monarch devices as well.
Okay.
You've also got on here a network connection, so that's important. That lets you control the device, and that also lets you send your stream or record across the network.
So potentially, I mean, this is an all-in-one unit.
This is yeah, absolutely. This is a Linux PC at its heart.
Right.
So this is a standalone appliance. You don't need to plug this up to a Mac or a PC. It's got its own little operating system on there as well. So once you fire it up, it just does what it does.
So setup is done. For, you know, you're not dedicated to one streaming company. You enter your, or are you?
No, not at all.
No?
You can stream it anywhere. So basically, you within the control panel. Let me just explain how the control panel works.
Right,
so just go to the back. We have this network connection. This is how you control the device. Very, very similar to the way that you would set up a router, a wireless router at home.
Yeah.
So you find the IP address of the device. Very easy to do. You then dial in the IP address inside a web browser, and then you pull up a command center control utility. So you can go in there and tinker around with all the settings, and it's within that location there, within command center, you can set the path where you want to send the stream to the outside world. So for example, you want to send it to Ustream, then you set up a Ustream account beforehand, you create your TV channel, which is given a unique RTMP address, and then what you do from this device is you basically copy that path, or you import an XML file which has got that address information, and then the moment that you hit go, it will send it off to that location. So very, very straightforward to set up.
So just to, I mean, here to stream Broadcast Show, we use a mediumly powered PC, input-output cards, software. This is basically replacing all of that.
It could replace it. I mean, certainly if you've got the equipment, you're probably going to use what you've got. We do have solutions for the sort of setup that you're mentioning there already anyway. I think going forwards, when people need to add additional streams, or they want to do more things, then it makes sense to invest in a product that's 650 quid rather than 6,500 quid. So
so that will do one stream per box, if you like. So one quality, one resolution, if you like.
Yeah. Explain about how the internal workings are configured. So we have two independent channels within the unit. So we have one feed going in, one feed coming out, but internally there are two channels. One is for encoding for the live stream, and one is the encoded recording that we make. Now what that means is that we can have two quality settings. So the stream could be going out at something like 1 megabit per second, which is pretty common. And then the recording could be taking place at something like 25, 27 megabits per second. So that's good. We would consider as being a master quality for archive, come back for post-production purposes to chop it all up and do what you want with it. So so there are two channels within the box. Now, technically speaking, that could be two streams, but today that's not the way it's configured. It's one for recording, one for streaming.
So who do you see being your, I mean, in what situations, who's your biggest customer here? Who's your, who's going to use it?
Well, this is interesting. I think when we devised the product and looked early on the sort of use for it, I think we were thinking broadcast, post-production uses, perhaps, compliance recording, the sort of things that we're familiar with coming into contact with. But I think what's actually happened is, and this has surprised us, is there's a lot of other areas where we weren't expecting interest. So corporate communications, medical imaging, the justice system, public sector, CCTV. So there's all manner of uses for recording H.264, which is what this box does fundamentally. And there's all manner of uses for streaming. The streaming doesn't necessarily mean for entertainment. It could be, say, medical imaging, where they have operating theatres in one location and they have consultants in a different geographic location, and these guys need to engage input to what's going on. These guys need high quality. They need the sort of things that this sort of box can offer, very affordably as well. I add, it's I mentioned earlier. This is
what sort of price point?
I mean, our list price is $699. I think CVP, one of our partners in the UK, CVP have this on their website for 650 quid, excluding VAT. So we're not talking about having to remortgage. You don't have to sell the kids, to be able to afford one of these boxes. Also, another thing I touched on very early on is the ability to daisy chain these devices. So, for example, you have the requirement to send out two streams to two separate places. How do you do that? Well, you buy two boxes. I mean, they're cheap enough to be able to buy a ton of them. You buy two boxes, and then what you can do, I don't know if you can see at the back there. I'm going to try and plug this in properly, but you never know. So if we come out of the top one and go in to the bottom one, if I get it round the right way.
Right.
There you go. So it's as simple as that. So that basically means that the top unit can accept the feed from your vision mixer, from your camera, and then you can daisy chain multiple units together and give each unit
to
a
two different CDNs, or just different qualities, or either or.
They can go to the same. They can go to the same actually, no, we go into different addresses, naturally, but there'd be nothing to stop you from having different quality settings going to the same CDN over different RTMP addresses.
Yeah, okay. But they're two different RTMP addresses.
Yeah, exactly. So you could have,
be two different.
if you wanted to have different quality settings, you could have a low quality, medium, and a high. You could have 3 devices set up to do that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to send all the same quality, but one is going to North America, the other one is going to Asia, well, for whatever
and that
reason.
would work the same way.
Exactly. So
Just
these
2 different addresses.
It's very simple to do.
Fantastic.
The other thing as well is there'll be people that want to plug SDI equipment into these devices, and they'll note that we've got HDMI on the back. Well, we have another little box here called the MC100, and that is, believe it or not, an SDI to HDMI converter. So if you need to be able to do that, we can. We have a bundle where we combine the Monarch HD with one of these little babies here.
Oh, okay.
And it works out cheaper than buying them independently.
I think that's appeared in TV Bay a few times under
Yeah.
review.
We've had a,
there's an ocean of mini converters in the business. Yeah, and you know, we're one of them. But these are very good boxes. They do exactly what they do. They do an awful lot more than what you need it to do for this. But you know,
if that's the tool that you've got to provide, then that's fine.
Yeah, and it's a lovely looking
So the
tool.
Combination, have you got a price on the combination now?
I think the two together is around about $850.
Yeah,
if you buy the 2 together, excluding VAT.
It's good value.
It's a good couple of hundred cheaper than buying them independently, as I say.
So I'm guessing the recording isn't limited by the quality of the stream. It's 2 completely separate channels.
Actually, yeah, good point, Simon. Because in some cases, the stream setting is the threshold for the recording. So, for example, if you streaming at 1 megabit, then that's the maximum that you can record at, and that's a bit of a pain if you want to come back and reuse that media. So, because we have these 2 independent channels, we can set the stream channel to be low bit rate, 1 megabit, 800 KB, and then we can set the recording bit rate to be, say, 25 megabits or a little bit higher than that. There are a couple of different modes you can use the box. You can use it purely recording, in which case you have a maximum of 30 megabits per second. Alternatively, you can say, right, I want to be able to do both at the same time, so I want to record and stream. If you do that, there's an upper limit, I think, of 10 megabits per second for the stream, and whatever's left over for the recording. If you want to go streaming only, you have a maximum of 20 megabits per second. Now, just to put that in perspective, if this show's been beamed out at 1 megabit per second or slightly less, you know, 20 megabits per second is going to give you super duper encoding quality.
Yeah, we like to think it's perfectly watchable at home at that level. So your
viewers
perfectly
not
watchable is questionable. But the stream will
content, the stream will be all right. Yeah, good.
So what's your general opinion on streaming and the future of it? I was chatting to a guy last night who had a funeral streamed. A Matrox seeing like an explosion in people that were typically wedding videographers, for example, now streaming weddings and events. Yeah,
it's a good point. We are seeing some trends develop, and I think in some geographies we see those trends happen a bit sooner than, say, where we are. For example, North America, they have this whole house of worship thing that we don't really have. We don't really share in Europe quite so much. Things are starting to catch on a little bit, but they I think invest quite heavily in the technology. They have usually a kind of a long reach. You know, they have people that want to be involved in what's going on from quite far afield. In Europe, you know, maybe the distances that we travel are a little bit shorter, so that we can make the effort. We can get there and see it for real. But yeah, we have seen a little bit of that kind of happening over here, where there are disparate communities that want to try and hook up somehow. Whether that's people who are enthusiasts in, you know, I don't know, car clubs, or whether it's religious or whatever it happens to be. But just being able to connect simply and easily with people just too far away to be there in person. We're seeing a rise in that. But I think we're also seeing a more awareness about what streaming really is and how you can benefit from that technology. It's not for the privileged, it's not for the guys that have got super expensive equipment. It's really affordable. So I think we're kind of democratizing the video streaming bit of it. You know, we're making it much easier to get your hands on.
It is very portable as well.
It's super light. I mean, it's
okay. We can do it from a laptop. We can do it with cards. We can, you know, but if that's it, I just need to plug a monitor in to find out. And I've got my
Run.
laptop with me. Boom.
This is it.
No,
I mean,
it's
we
good.
saw. It's a good point. We saw quite recently guys who'd had
Set up and
these
leave it.
what we call shuttle workstations. It's probably a brand name I shouldn't be talking about, but there's these boxes are about so big, shoebox size, but quite heavy. There's a card in there. There's a drive in there. There's an operating system. There's a bit of things going on. And it's more expensive. By the time you've cobbled together all of those little odds and sods, you end up with something chunky and expensive. And we just come along and say, look, you don't need to do that anymore. You just buy a little box off the shelf. Yeah. Really, I mean, if I can make it work, then most people can make it work.
Don't talk yourself down. Well, hopefully we'll get someone using it, and we'll have a review in the in TV Bay in the next coming issues.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's demonstrations because you're going to be exhibiting at BVE in February.
We will be at BVE, and we're going to be focusing on streaming technology, so you can come across to the booth and see what we have to offer. Any
new announcements at BVE, or is it all being hush-hush?
Top secret, as always.
As always. And what's the best, if people need to find out some more about the Monarch HD, what's the best website that they can go to?
They can visit us on www.matrox.com/video, and then you'll see some flash imagery there where you can just click on the Monarch button. We've got some more technical detail specification, what the box can do, what it can accept, what it can encode, where it can deliver to, and also some nice pictures. That's important.
We like pictures.
Great. Let's see what's going on. So we've got a job to do.
It's come to the first part of the show where we have the Christmas giveaway. So the first prize is donated by AKM Music. Now, those of you involved in editing or productions, and no doubt needed some royalty-free music at some point in time, and AKM, good friends of TV Bay, are a good place to go. Now, they've given us a £100 voucher, which you can either use for downloads on the website, or you can choose some CDs, and they'll box them up and send them to you. So, Darren, would you do us the honours of...
We haven't got a magic hat of choosing things what we had last year.
The hat of Christmas choice.
That's it, the hat of Christmas choice.
John is currently wearing that in bed.
Yeah, he's got it on.
So just take a random one.
Right, take a random one.
Yeah,
close your eyes. Stick your
I'm
hand
very
in there.
honoured, by the way.
Yeah.
To be. I'm not looking at all.
No.
As you can see.
No. Right, there we go. Who have you got?
Do I read it out? Do you read it out?
You're welcome to read it out.
Oh, I want it. I'm joking.
No. Right, so here we go. This is Mario Tobon. I hope I've said that right. Freelance videographer and editor, Mario Video Services. Great. Perfect. Okay, you won that. There you go. There you go. Just proof that it is him. You can't get in. There you go. There you go. There we go. Hasn't got his number on, has it? No. Right, we'll keep that safe.
The next prize up for grabs, Aaron, is we have 5 to pull out of here. Five copies of Lightworks Pro for Linux and Windows. So one of these comes with a keyboard as well.
Shall I just yank 5 out?
Just yank 5 out, yep.
Don't put them back after reading.
Don't put them back.
3, 4.
I know you haven't got one of those stray blank ones that sneaked in there. Right, who have we got? Let's be quick. Ross. That's very descriptive. It's just Ross. He's SHFL TV. So you're a winner. Mark Wriggler.
Is that his real name, by the way? Or is that his stage name?
Yeah, it could be. We'll just leave that one. Mark Wriggler, you're a winner. Jacob Davies, camera operator from Tag Media Productions. Max Green. One of the students. Let's hope we get a good review out of him. From Ravensbourne. Todd McDonald, editor. He's Illuminations. Todd McDonald, Max Green, Jacob Davies, Ross, and Mark Wriggler. Well done.
Fantastic. And the highlight of this section is no doubt the winner of the Monarch HD, Darren. So we've talked about it. Now it's the chance for somebody to win it. So let's see who the lucky winner is now.
Right.
This is a different box every time. It's not the same box.
It's not the same box. It's being refilled.
People who entered the competition chose the prize they wanted to win based on what they do.
Sorry, I picked a blank one.
Oh, yeah.
What are the chances?
There you go. I told you a few got in there somehow.
I don't know who cut these up.
Yeah. Good one?
That's a real one. Yeah, that's a real one.
Who have we got? Colin Ashby. He's director from, does it say Ashby? Ashby Media Limited. Colin Ashby. Well, there you go. You are the lucky winner. That looks a good one. Yeah. There you go. You'll enjoy that. There you go. Nice box.
So
well done, Colin.
We'll be talking to him in the near future once he's had a chance to play with it, and you'll be able to read the full review about what he thought of the Monarch HD in a future episode or future issue of TV Bay magazine.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Now, we're looking forward to May 2014, where we'll be once again embarking on a marathon 5-city tour in 2 weeks, covering London, Glasgow in its Commonwealth Games year, the buzzing media city in Manchester, Birmingham by popular demand, and finishing in Bristol.
So let's just take a quick look back at the highlights of the 8 cities we visited during 2013.
Absolutely brilliant fun. It's raining outside, and my next stop for the whole tour is in Leeds, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
I thought the event was excellent. I think we should have more events like this.
Yeah, everyone's been just like, go on, hands on, go get the cameras out there. Do you want to use the light? Come back, use the light. It's fantastic. They're all really open, let you just touch everything and get to use it and experience it for yourself.
So during the tour we'll have a great lineup of speakers and workshops, as well as a chance to be the first to get your hands on kit released at NAB in April in Las Vegas.
So get yourself registered at broadcastshow.com/tour, and we'll keep you posted on all the news and updates. So on with the show, and our next guest is possibly fresh from tour himself. It's Big Al from Tour Supply. Welcome, Big Al.
Thank
you very much for coming on the show. We were chatting earlier on. We got introduced by our good friends Pelly UK, who we've managed to blow up a few of their cases over the last year or so. I guess they thought it was your turn now.
Yeah.
And they introduced us to you. And I understand Tour Supply are looking to move into the broadcast market in some way.
It's a market that we've historically never had anything to do with, so it's always nice to put your fingers in some more pies if possible.
Exactly. So let's just rewind a few years and so on. If you could tell us a bit about Tour Supply, where you started. And
Tour Supply is basically, the easiest way to describe it is we're almost like your average high street music store, but we don't deal with the general public at all. We just deal with the professional touring market. If you think of the 10 biggest names you can think of who are still out doing live shows and on tour at the moment, probably 9 of those are customers of ours.
Okay. And what type of services are you providing them?
Mostly it's consumables. It's gaff tape, batteries, drum heads, strings, drumsticks, but everything right up to custom built flight cases, high-end wireless systems, microphones, all sorts of things. Right. We work very closely with a lot of the bigger manufacturers, from Sennheiser and Audio-Technica, Shure, on their artist endorsement programs. So we provide a nice niche in the market where the manufacturers, rather than having to deal with all the individual bands themselves, will send the bands to us.
Okay.
And we service their needs whatever they need.
Cool. And is Tour Supply UK company?
Initially a US company. We've got 4 offices in the US. There's New York, Los Angeles, Nashville and Minneapolis. And the UK office has been open for almost 6 years now.
Right. And we were chatting before the show. I was just intrigued when people say, I've been on tour with XYZ. What you did before you started?
Before I got into this, I spent a lot of time on tour with different bands, being a tour manager, production manager. So the big scary man who shouts at everybody, basically.
Well, I'm sure you tick all those boxes.
I'm scared. Go on.
So it seems a bit odd, a big scary man now peddling pink Pelly cases.
Pelly cases in the music side of the industry are, I mean, everybody's got them.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, there's the
I'm
pink
not
one.
sure if you're going to have to adjust your sets in order to...
That's pink.
An awful lot of the crew guys use this size, the 1510 size, as their transport for their laptops and things because they are great cases to keep everything protected. And obviously Pelly do 90% of Pelly's black. You can get orange ones, you can get yellow ones, but there's an awful lot of females in our business, an awful lot of people on the road, and we've started to get more and more requests to see if we could get pink ones. And obviously Pelly don't make anything in pink. We'd spoken to them about it. They said they couldn't do it. But after an event we'd been to with the Pelly UK people, we came to an arrangement where we were going to have some specifically made. And this is the result, the pink that we've come up with. So at the moment, and as far as we know, we're just going to do this once. There's 250 of these. And once they're all sold, they're all sold. It's never to be repeated.
So this is a
very limited
collector's item that somebody is actually winning this in a second.
Not to mention the fact that from every case we sell, this is the reason we went for the pink. For every case we sell, we are giving £10 to breast cancer research.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's all for a good cause as well.
That's very good. So I'm guessing Tour Supply are a big user of Pelly cases in general.
Yeah, I mean it's one of our better selling items.
And did you go through a process in order to decide which case was going to offer the best protection, or was it just a historical thing?
Well, when we opened in the UK, obviously Pelly in the US is huge. It's a staple of the touring market, so it was obvious for us which one we had to go with. There are some rivals. They'll be taking on their own merits from people who use them, some which are considerably cheaper and possibly not as robust, shall we say. But it's people don't come to us and say, I want an injection moulded waterproof case. They come to us and say, I want a Pelly case.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we provide for people.
Yeah. And what? So over the years, I mean, I guess there's been some bizarre requests as well, hasn't there?
We do, yeah. We our little niche in the market is specialising in whatever you need, wherever you need it. We'll try and make it happen for you, because when bands are on tour, you're in a different city every day, so you never know where you're going to be able to find things that you might need.
Yeah.
So we've become the go-to people. If you've got a panic on, give us a phone. If we don't have it, we'll try and find it for you.
Extreme cold, extreme wet, extreme, just fix it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And aside from pink Pelly cases, any other random sort of off-the-wall products that Tour Supply can offer?
We've started doing our own brand of hot sauce, chili sauce now. We do little bottles. That's it's become quite a nice marketing tool.
Yeah.
Is it hot?
It is.
It's just
Very hot.
fiery.
We do hot and an extra hot. The extra hot one has a little filter on the top to stop all the chili seeds coming out. Yeah. We may start doing Tour Supply toilet paper to go with it.
Yeah, with a freezer.
And t-shirts, of course. I mean, there's
we have our
Tour
Tour Supply t-shirts that we give away every year. Over the course of the year, especially in the summer, we have our own little mobile store at a lot of the big music festivals. We set up backstage so that the bands and the crew guys can all come and chat with us, pick up anything they want. And we work with the different manufacturers to sponsor our t-shirts. So we have a t-shirt that just says Tour Supply in the front with some of the sponsors' logos on the back. I think this year we gave away over 2,000 t-shirts.
Wow.
So
So it's
if
fair to
anybody
say
finds
that-
themselves at a festival, come and find the cabin and grab a free T-shirt.
So it's fair to say that Tour Supply has become quite a merchandising brand in its own right, I guess.
Yeah, it's there's no fancy logo. It's
It does what it says on the tin.
exactly.
On the pelly case.
Keep it as simple as possible. That way, nothing's going to go wrong.
Well, should we?
Have you got any recommendations?
Oh, go on
We've
then.
been asked. Have you any recommendations of bands people should be looking out for?
Depends. It depends what sort of music you're into. There's an all-female band called Haim at the moment who are very good. A very, very good British sort of pop rock band called Def Havana. 9 Inch Nails have reformed again. They're coming out to do all the
really?
festivals in summer.
okay.
They do a spectacular
That should be fun.
production show with loads of video stuff on
Yeah.
it. Live music is thriving, no matter what the rest of the economy is doing. The live music business is thriving. There's a lot of bands out there, and people need to get out and support it.
Yeah. And just going back to what we were saying originally, where you haven't sort of got into the broadcast industry as much as maybe you'd like, are you looking at sort of live events that you could maybe supply kit for? And
Well, it's we'd like to be able to supply a lot of some of the broadcast companies the same way they would do with the bands. We're not a 9 to 5 company. We'll always answer phone calls or emails as soon as we can. Sometimes it's 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's 3 o'clock in the morning. My wife will kill me for saying that. We'd just like to be there to help people out. Primarily, obviously, the pink cases, because we're raising money for charity. We'd like to get rid of as many of them as possible. But I mean, this is what we do. We're here for when people need us.
yeah. What would you say would be your top selling or loan? I'm guessing you hire or loan or sell.
We sell.
Okay.
It's always a surprise to people how much of the market is batteries and gaffer tape. Proper, what a lot of the bands call real gaffer tape, which we bring in from the States. We do an awful lot of wireless mics and in-ear monitor systems. Our point is we never really know what people are going to ask us for.
And it's all available on the website as well.
Well, we don't.
No.
There's toursupply.com website in the US.
Right.
The UK side of things, we don't do a web store because we like to concentrate on our core market, which is the professionals.
Yeah.
Where we found if you have a web store, you open it up
You're going
to
to drift into.
more of a
Joe
retail
blogs
market,
and
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
we like to be able to focus on our customers and have people call us rather than randomly
fair
clicking on things on the website.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And your I guess your products are going to have to expand. Your range of products is going to have to expand to come into the broadcast industry a little.
We tend to keep in stock what people ask us for.
Yeah.
If we don't have it in stock, give us a couple of days, we'll find it for
There's
you.
going to be a huge amount of crossover, but some
Yeah,
things will
well,
be,
we'd like to think so.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, absolutely. Most of it will be the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
it's a lot of it's going to come from the same manufacturers.
Yeah.
As I say, the microphones. I mean, even down to cables.
Yeah.
I noticed you've got the little editor keys shield thing there. We sell those.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's based in Manchester as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So we covered the website www.toursupply.co.uk.
Toursupply.co.uk takes you to a holding page which has all our office contact details on it. You can call us at the office 0845 423 8687 or uksales@toursupply.com.
Cool. We'll stick all those up on lower thirds underneath us.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. So we come to the time
Next
where somebody's going to walk away with our pink pelly case, sadly.
Oh, really?
We need
I
to,
know. I know someone who will want that very much, Joe. Yeah.
We have some more in the office.
Yeah. I've done it, haven't I?
But just before that, we've got a couple of other goodies to give away. The first one's a very good goodie. It's a full copy of Blackmagic's design DaVinci Resolve version 10. And Al, can I just ask you to dig your hands in there and pull out a lucky winner, please?
Don't worry, whatever you've got your hands on.
This is the point where I realise I forgot my reading glasses.
Yeah,
so
no, that's all right. Let's have a look.
Over.
Here we go. Padraig Finnegan, cameraman, video editor, production, Border Region TV. There we go. Hang on. You zooming in? There we go. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah. Prize coming. What was it? It was the Resolve, wasn't it?
Da Vinci
Da Vinci Resolve.
So the next
Great.
one, we've already covered BVE, which is the end of February 2014. As you people that have been may know, BVE is becoming or has become the UK's biggest trade show for the industry. Now this is a mystery prize from BVE. To be honest, I don't think even they know what the prize is yet, but we're going to pull a lucky winner, and we're going to sort them out with something extra special should they pop along to Excel in a few months' time.
Yeah, good. Right, who we got? It's got writing on it. It's always a good sign. James Ransom, Warehouse Tech. Pristine Charter. Well done, James Ransom. What's he got?
He'll be the envy of his colleagues at BVE when he's sat in the VIP
when
lounge.
He finds out when he's got. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, as we said, we've got this collector's item, as we've now known it is. Collector's item, one of 250 ever made. Pelly case, which Big Al has kindly donated from Tor Supply. So, Al, if you want to pull the lucky winner here.
I wonder whether it's going to be a fella or a...
Oh, actually, we ought to have filtered it into...
David Lowry. There you go. Live stream producer, Infinity 21. No more information. David Lowry, you are a winner. We've got your email. We'll get it to you. Here we go.
Well done, David. So once again, those three winners will be writing in TV Bay in the next 12 months or so about the product, their experiences of it, and how it's fared up. So we can look forward to that next year. Thank you, Big Al. Thank you very much for making the trip down. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Yes. Right. So the next prize up for grabs is from Telestream. You may recall they were winners of the most viewed interview at IBC in September.
So we were hoping to connect with them via Skype during the show, but time differences have got the better of us. So let's just take a quick look at this clip to get a taste of the prize that we have on offer next.
I'm here at the Telestream stand here at IBC 2013. This is the second of two videos that we've done here on this stand. You can find the other one on this page just down there somewhere. Now we're going to be talking to Philippa here about a new version of Wirecast that has just come out. Very exciting news. Everybody gets excited when a new version of Wirecast comes out. Tell us a little bit about Wirecast 5.
So with Wirecast 5, we've done some bigger changes. We've changed the UI, as I think you can see if you use Wirecast in the past. The goal is to improve the shop-in, as you see at the bottom here. We've introduced the possibility to see multiple layers at the same time, to drag and drop between the layers. And I mean, I think we've increased the flexibility of that area a lot. The other thing we've done is kind of improve the overall usability. Stream and record is easier to get to and understand the buttons. We've introduced more traditional features such as the switcher mode, where you switch between live and broadcast. Okay. So you don't have to, go back and select the previous source, and now it's automatically flipping back and forth. The other thing we've introduced, I think, it's a more detailed audio meter, decibel, more like industry standard type of thing. So that's the UI, I think, in the big.
So if we have a look at this area of the UI, because this is quite different from the original version or the other versions of Wirecast. Do you want to give us a little overview of how this works?
So one thing that you can see here is what you see here are the different layers, and then you can actually individually rescale them. So for example, this is a title layer, and I might not want to have that big usually. So you can minimize that and make it even smaller. And if you go really small, you actually collapse the layer. So we're trying to be more efficient in our vertical spacing here. The other thing that has changed is that the toolbars that used to be present here are no longer present, and you can actually go to the shot and you get all of those features all directly from the shot. You can also see if there's audio present in the shot nowadays, and you can mute it and kind of, see what the audio status is of the individual shot. And then you have the new Add Sources button in the shot bin.
And you can still drag and drop clips into these bins as well if you needed to?
Yes, drag and drop into the bin, drag and drop in between the layers. I'm not going to ruin their demo here that the guys are doing, but yeah, drag and drop in between, drag and drop around, just the same as before. And you also have the possibility to deactivate an entire layer, which was not a good thing to do apparently, but with these buttons over here.
Brilliant. Now, another feature is this, you've updated the shortcut keys, I believe, on this as well.
A little bit. I mean, that's not a big, we want to do it even better. I mean, I think we see that a lot of people will like to use shortcuts even more with Wirecast to be really fast. The things that we've added are the cut and smooth, so that they are by default as keyboard shortcuts.
So, obviously it's a software upgrade. There's 2 versions of Wirecast. Is it an upgrade for both versions of Standard and Pro?
Studio and Pro. So the UI is included in both those versions. We've also added now support for X264 in both Studio and Pro, and we've also improved the playback greatly inside of Wirecast. The other thing that we've done is we added a new screen capture. So the local screen capture, if you go to sources here. So the new thing here is you can select what type, if you want to capture the monitor, if you want to capture a window. You can capture multiple application windows and they can be on top of each other, it doesn't matter. You can also capture a game feed directly from within Wirecast, which is new in 5. And we're really excited about that feature.
So I do quite a lot of stuff in the gaming industry, so if you are effectively shoutcasting or something like this on a game feed, you can now pull that game feed directly in from something like a stream game or something like that, say running Steam.
I mean, we tap into the raw game feed. You don't pull it, you don't capture the screen, you capture the feed directly.
Right.
And then what else? And it's high quality, 60 FPS, HD, it's really good.
Brilliant. So all those gamers out there can now, going out to Twitch and things like that, can now go straight to this and pull in their game feed from COD on the Steam or any Steam game.
Or whatever you're playing, yes.
Excellent. I know a lot of people will be very interested in that.
QA guys are very happy about testing that, I can tell you. Yeah.
So if people want to get hold of this, what's the process for getting hold of the new upgrade?
So the new upgrade will be available within a couple of weeks and will be available on our website. And you'll also see, if you own Wirecast already, you'll see the in-app upgrade be a paid upgrade option, and you'll get it that way.
Excellent, Philippa. Thank you very much indeed. So if you want to find out more about Wirecast, obviously have a look at their website. I'm going to ask Philippa what the URL is. It is?
www.telestream.net/Wirecast.
Thank you. There you go. It's on screen now. Find out everything you need about the new version of Wirecast 5. Of course, everything that we've been doing here at IBC you'll find on our website, which is broadcastshow.com.
And thank you to John for the interview there at Telestream at IBC this year. Now, we've heard rumours that John is actually in the chat room on Twitter. So
can't leave it alone, can he?
Just can't. Man flu just won't keep the man down. So he's obviously feeling better. So so the winner of the Wirecast Studio, Matt's going to draw it out. Or should I draw it out and you read it?
Go on then.
Go on then. I'm good at pulling things out of bags.
Pulling it out there. Simon as well.
It's not me.
Simon, director. It says W Web TV, but Web TV, I would imagine.
Studio live streaming.
Studio and live streaming.
Perfect winner.
Perfect winner. Look at that. Right, great. What's next?
So on with the show. Again, if you've got any questions, just tweet them to @BroadcastShow, and someone, probably John, will chip in and answer it for you.
So with us now is Richard James from Global Distribution. You may have seen him on tour with us this year, and if you did, you'll know the vast range of products they supply. Hello, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. So we've got a rather nice product there from Atomos, but let's just look at the global distribution wider picture.
Yep.
And just for those people that may not have come across you in the past, maybe just tell us all about you.
Sure. So we are a specialist distributor working within the UK and European markets pretty much throughout sort of North Africa and Middle East as well. So we're obviously frequent exhibitors at IBC. We attend NEB with our manufacturers, and we're going to be at BVE next year as well in February. Essentially, we specialise primarily in sort of data storage technology, right through from acquisition to editing to archival and long-term preservation of people's data. So pretty much new from us at the moment. We have Thunderbolt is obviously a big topic. The new Mac Pro is about to hit. Apple have updated with the Thunderbolt 2 protocol. So we have the Promise Technology Pegasus 2 series of storage devices, which is ideal for editors, people working with Premiere, Avid, FCP, etc. Do multi-stream video, high-capacity storage. It's very, very good solutions. So they're now shipping. Magma Technology, Magma basically have a product called Robin. It's brand new, so it's a Thunderbolt expansion chassis. It's rack-mountable desktop. You can fit drives in it, fit your Mac Mini in it. That's now shipping. And also, we'll be showing it properly at BVE. It was debuted at IBC, and there's some footage on your website from an interview with Roger Mabon from M-Logic for the new M-Tape, which is the world's first Thunderbolt LTO tape drive. So it makes archiving of data onto data tape in the field, on location, in the studio, wherever it might be. Very, very cost effective and easy to use.
Yeah, excellent. In that case, having done the global distribution, let's go on to what you've got here, the Blade.
Yes, so Atomos. Obviously, Atomos make two different types of products. We do field recorders and we do converters. So the field recorder technology we've been shipping for over 2.5 years now. We have a range of products starting with the Ninja 2, which is our HDMI recorder. It's perfect for your lower end or older HDMI enabled cameras or DSLR users, very, very cost effective. We then have our SDI products, which is the Samurai Blade and the Ronin. The Samurai Blade is the sort of newest product, which is an update to the original Samurai. So essentially the premise with our recorders is we take an uncompressed feed in from any camera or video source. Here we're actually taking the live broadcast feed. And essentially we encode that in real time into either Apple's ProRes codec or Avid's DNX HD. So it's a visually lossless, edit-ready codec. There's no plugins that need to be installed for your NLE. There is no transcoding required. Literally the media that's recorded is ready to edit. We also record to removable 2.5-inch form factor media. So we differ from using CF cards and things like that. So we can either record to spinning hard disk drives or we can record to solid state drives. We give you a dock with that, so you take the drive out, you fit it in the dock, mounts on your computer like any external hard drive, and your clips and footage are all there ready to edit.
Richard, where did the sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Just before we go too deep into the Samurai, when you go around trade shows, there's obviously more than Atomos making camera top field recorders. Where did it all begin, and I guess why did it begin?
Atomos really, the founders Jeremy Young and Ian Overlees, the sort of who's the chief engineer. They're the founders of Atomos. Their kind of concept behind going to a field recorder was, in the good old days of videotape, someone shot a film on a camera onto videotape, and you edited from you basically edited from that, and that tape was your archive. Essentially, when everything went digital and DV came along, the world was quite simple because you basically bought a DV camera, you bought a DV tape, you shot in DV, you ingested it in DV, you edited in DV, and then you delivered it in whatever format you needed to. HD came along, and suddenly there was a world of different codecs and bit rates and different media types, and Sony had their S/S and Panasonic had P2, and you had to start either transcoding everything, and you had to start installing plugins for everything to work. And plugins in NLEs generally, NLEs don't like it. It's very CPU intensive. It can work. You can install a plugin to natively read an AVC HD file from a Canon or a Sony or whatever. But it is CPU intensive. Apple came along and came out with ProRes as an editing format, and Avid had DNX HD. They were designed to be visually lossless. The human eye can't tell the difference between a uncompressed HD image and 220 megabit AVC DNX HD or ProRes file. They're optimized for the NLE, so they work very, very quickly and effortlessly. Something like FCP10, for example, is just completely built around ProRes. So Atomos wanted to get back to that easy workflow. They wanted you to be able to, rather than encoding an inferior low bitrate codec that needs changing later on, why not encode into an edit codec that is easy to use and visually lossless? So that's really where their concept came out, that shoot in ProRes or DNX HD, edit straight away in it, and then deliver in whatever you need to. So their whole concept behind the way that they designed the product is, let's have a recorder, but we'll give you a touchscreen user interface that gives us a screen, and then you can basically have functionality within that, such as monitoring with focus peaking, zebra, false color, and leading on to the Samurai Blade. That's where we've taken that whole new step forward.
So the features for this, where this stands out, where this differs from other products, let alone its predecessors,
Yeah.
the Samurai. But and so, what gives us the
Yeah,
unique?
so the Samurai Blade, basically we listened to a lot of user feedback. The original Samurai had mini BNCs. We did that purely for space reasons, to make it small and compact as possible. We've re-engineered it and moved to full-size BNC connectors. So the unit is millimeters in all directions, slightly larger. So that's the first change. We've added a tally light on the side, so when you're in your record, you can see a tally. When you're in record, you can also see we now do a color ring around the screen. We used to do color bars on the monitor. So now it's quite handy, regardless of which menu you're in. If you're drilling in and fiddling with your display settings, for example, or changing your scene shot take for your next shoot, you can basically see whether the unit is in record or not, which is particularly handy if people are essentially using separate camera triggers, or you've got a sort of audio burst generator and we're recording from time code starting and stopping, etc. The main thing is the screen. So we're the same 5 inches that we were before, but we've now moved to the old Samurai and the Ninja 2 product have like a TFT LCD hybrid sort of technology screen. It's an 800 by 480 resolution. It's resistive touch. What we've moved to here is what we call the Super Atom IPS panel. So it's an in-plane switching LCD, which gives us much better color reproduction, gives us a much better contrast, deeper blacks and things like that. But what it's enabled us to do is we now move to a 1280 by 720 resolution screen, which in the same 5-inch form factor equates to 1 million pixels on this screen, which is 325 pixels per inch. So it's your high-end sort of retina style display. So instantly, it gives us a lot more real estate. People that are familiar with the Atomos products will now notice that we've integrated the main menu screen into the monitor. So everything is now all in one screen. Everything is one touch away. So having the extra resolution has enabled us to kind of refine the user interface as well to make things easier to use. With that, we've basically added some tools, as well as the original sort of focus peaking, zebra, false color, and blue only that we had before. We've improved the focus peaking in particular, where we scan in more directions. We can actually grayscale the image, or we can go to an outline only mode. But the big thing which makes this a sort of usable, we actually have people buying this now just as an HD monitor. We've added waveform monitoring. So we basically have a Luma on here. So you can have that either as a quarter screen, or you can have it as a third screen, or you can have it as a full screen for your Luma. We also have an RGB parade within that as well. Again, we can do the same thing, cycling through how you look at that. And we also have a vector scope within here as well, which we can go full screen or quarter screen. If I tap that through, when you have it as an overlay, we can change the brightness, we can change the translucency of that. So depending on how much of the image behind you basically want to see.
Does that come under the screen calibration controls that you have available?
Yep. So basically, what we now have, which is one of the reasons for being here, is we have this new product called Spider, which is from Atomos. We've partnered with a company called Data Color, who are very renowned in the world of color calibrations. So basically, we have the Atomos Spider, which is an £89 option for the Samurai Blade. The Samurai Blade is $849, so it's a sub-£1,000 package plus VAT. And it is essentially, therefore, the world's most affordable sort of field calibration monitor. You know, you can be anywhere and calibrate this. All you need is a laptop, obviously your Samurai Blade and the Spider to hand. We basically have a simple piece of software to use with it that gives you essentially one-click calibration. And what that lets us do is calibrate this screen to the Rec 709 standard with a D65 white point. So essentially, within the HD sort of specs and standards, people know that when you're in the field and you're shooting on your camera and you're using all your monitor and you're setting up your shot, you can see exactly the colors that you are actually recording. So it saves you time and money in the post-production process, because you're spending less time fixing color issues and things like that from the original shot.
Would this be like a day-to-day thing that the cameraman sets his camera up, does a white balance, checks his lights, and then checks his screen?
You don't need to do it every day. All we say is really you calibrate the screen, leave the unit on for about half an hour so the screen panel and everything's all warmed up and everything's working correctly. We then basically put I'll show you how this works. Essentially, you plug a cable into the LANC port on here, and you literally just sit the spider on the top, and you basically, so you make sure it's on a level surface. We have a piece of software that literally will detect the unit that we've plugged in. So if you've got multiple blades and you've named them all, you'll be able to see which one you're calibrating.
Okay.
And essentially, you then just hit calibrate.
And then ambient light has what effect on it? Is there any?
Essentially, ambient light, no, the way that the actual data color spider works is by sitting on top, any light coming in within, I mean, obviously if you're shining a really bright torch in there, it will affect it slightly. But yeah, in most environments, there's no...
Or perhaps do it out of any direct light.
Exactly. And then the unit will take about 2 minutes. It's literally now just running through, outputting the necessary color outputs from the actual screen. The spider is analysing that and sending the data back to the computer. The computer will actually give you a graph and show you all the results for all the different colour tests that it does.
What it was, what it's changed
what it was, yeah, exactly, basically where it is. And then we say in terms of drift, you're pretty good for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on a really intensive shoot, you know, maybe do it a little bit sooner. But our recommendation is for accurate representation, recalibrate or check calibration every kind of 2 weeks.
I guess different environments, freezing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so on,
yeah.
Just normal
indeed.
stuff.
And then, and it's very, very simple to use. What we also then have once it's calibrated, and I'll show you that in a minute when it's finished, you'll first of all get an update on the screen saying that the calibration was successful. The unit will just go straight back into working and doing what it needs to do. But basically, we then give you some user controls. We've updated the Samurai Blade OS to 5.1. And basically 5.1 has added some display options. So you can go in there and you can essentially say whether you want to use the Rec 709 display, or if you're using C-Log, we have the option to flick to C-Log and it will take the data from the camera for that to display obviously what it needs to. But we basically give you a adjust on gamma, Y gain and Y lift, so you can make on the fly adjustments to the actual screen as well as needed.
Do you think there's a future development in the spider being like a wireless a phone app almost?
Potentially. Atomos are very big on technology. Things like our patented continuous power technology, you know, is proprietary to us, and it's a very powerful feature that we have. And we're working on all sorts of new technology. One of the nice things about Atomos is that the OS is all their own coded from scratch. The hardware is all their own engineered from scratch, which is why we have such good battery life and feature set and ease of use. And it's very easy for us to add things. So we did an update around IBC time to the audio metering. Obviously, we can take up to 12 channels of audio through the SDI, and we also have an unbalanced analog in. But a lot of people just used to complain that they could see that we had a signal. It was maybe clipping, but it wasn't too detailed. So we now have very, very accurate audio meters with UV ballistics and stuff. So you know, little things like that we're constantly adding to the OS. And in terms of hardware, we've got a lot of neat things in development. And certainly, that's the way things are going to be going. There'll be a lot more interaction from, you know, mobile devices and iPads and things like that in terms of talking to devices wirelessly. That's certainly the way that things will go long term.
A couple of other questions really. With the going back to the Samurai, are there waterproof type covers, accessories, so that if you're out in the field?
Yep. So a lot of the dealers that we have do rain covers and things like that. They are third party. They're not Atomos. Atomos themselves do a range of sun hoods for each of their products. So if people are working in, you know, direct sunlight, or you're outside and things like that, or even if you're in a studio with a lot of you know, bright lights kicking around, you might get some glare and things like that. That was one of the improvements with the IPS panel, is that we basically, it has a kind of a much better off-axis kind of colour reproduction. You don't get the drift in colours that you used to get with other monitors or with, you know, traditional kind of LED or OLED displays. And it is much more sort of resilient against ambient light around it. But we do a range of sun hoods. There are some companies that do some underwater houses as well. So there's a few people that have started to do them. I don't know if there's one for the Samurai Blade yet, but there certainly is a few companies that do them for Ninja 2s and previous models, etc.
I'm sure we'll catch up in the near future.
Is it true, again, another question, is it true that you can use spinning drives as well as SSDs?
Yes, so we support spinning disk and SSD. So the removable drive literally comes out here. This is a standard 2.5-inch form factor drives. It's very similar to what you get in a laptop, a lot of mobile hard drives and things like that. So Atomos, we don't make our own media because there's various reasons for that. A 2.5-inch media is a complete commodity. It's used all around the world in millions and millions of devices. And therefore, there's a low price point for that. Also, it's an availability thing. We basically have a qualification list on the website. So if you go to atomos.com, click on support, there's a list of compatible hard drives linked there. And we split that into a highly recommended, and drives that we've seen problems with or you shouldn't really use. Essentially, we're the only company that actually supports spinning disk. Other people that do field recorders that now use 2.5-inch drives, they use SSDs only. And some of them are their own SSD media, which means that they're a ridiculous premium. We work with people like SanDisk approved, OWC approved, Intel. So they're, you can walk into PC World, for example, and pick up yourself a SanDisk SSD if you needed to, really urgently. But basically, spinning hard disk, there was a lot of development in how you talk to a hard disk. So that was some of the early code that Atomos developed so that we can talk to a hard disk. So if the hard disk isn't quite ready or vibrations are kind of building up and the drive is adjusting how it's working, we can compensate for that and buffer. We have a drop frame protection system, essentially. So if it gets to the point where a drive can't take the data, we carry on recording, but we drop a frame. We give you an indication that we have dropped a frame, so you know. We split the take as well, so you know at that point where the file splits, that's where your drop frame or frames occur. So really, we say for low budget productions, if you are really cost sensitive on a production, or if you need to record for very long periods of time. So we have a lot of event companies that are filming for 12-14 hours, and they would actually like to not stop. So using a hard disk drive essentially enables you to record for 30 hours, essentially, potentially depending on the capacity of media. So we really say if it's static or it's handheld, minimal vibrations.
The limit for the size you put in is only the limit of what's manufactured.
Exactly.
You haven't got any worries.
No, we have no limitation.
It's only cost.
Exactly.
Cost of manufacturing.
But then a 1 terabyte spinning hard disk drive is probably going to cost you, depending on where you pick it up, £70 or something. If that.
And are you finding people are using items like the Samurai instead of the on-board
recording,
or are they using that as a backup almost?
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about the Atomos products is being an external recorder, we take the feed after the lens and the sensor. So we're bypassing all of the internal AVC, HD or MPEG or whatever compression is going on inside. But in most camera cases, it doesn't prevent that also occurring. So people are using this as your online master because it's edit ready, it's a better quality, it's visually lossless. But then, they're still recording to their CF card at 50 megabit, 35 megabit, 24 megabit, whatever it might be, because that's a safety. And because we take camera time code and trigger information, everything's in sync, it's all the same time codes. And we can do that over HDMI as well with our Ninja 2 product. So in the case of, say, something like the C100, it's a very popular combination because it's a 24 megabit camera, it's a 420 recording. We can basically record 422, so you get the extra color space, and we can record up to 220 megabits, ready to edit. But as a safety, someone can still record to the CF card inside the C100, all in sync. So from a production insurance perspective, it's a good benefit.
Good.
I'm sure we'll see some new products coming out from Atomos in 2014.
Yeah, always on it.
Maybe a lens will be involved in one of them. Who knows?
No, we are leaving that one to the experts. So we have a growing relationship with people like Canon and Nikon and all the major camera manufacturers. So they know what they're doing with lenses, but we'll do the recording for them.
Fantastic. We did a good job at it as well. Yeah. So we've got some prizes to give away. One of which is a blade and the accompanying spider.
Including the spider. So
let's do the first one. It's being modelled by our assistant over there. I don't know whether Harry can cut her. This is Sandra, doesn't sort of do much. But she's modelling an auto-script winter warmer, shall we call it. And you could win this one, a T-shirt, mouse mat, and a lens cloth. So... Richard, can I ask you to pull two out?
Two. We've got two of these.
We've got a medium and a large, so if you can pull a large one out first.
There's the first. Or is that blank?
Blank. That's completely blank.
Drawn a blank. There we go. Hang on.
You haven't got another blanket.
No, that has text.
There we go. Right, Nick, sales. Nick from sales at R&S DVS. So there we go. Well done, Nick. Here we go. Hang on. Has he got it? There we go.
There's a cold snap coming, so Nick will be
warm. Nick will be all right. There we go. Right.
And another one.
And another one. Go for it.
There you go.
And there we go. We've
Derek
got
Halls.
one. Derek Halls, camera editor, DHP Digital Video. There we go, Derek. Well done. There's some AutoScript fleeces and T-shirts and the like on their way to you.
The next prize is from Forbidden Technology. Now, if you remember, they were on the last show, and I've got some words to read out about them because they're giving a package away to the value of £1,500. So Forbidden Technologies, if you missed last month's show, is an award-winning technology company that develops and delivers cloud-based solutions for collaborative video and post-production. Their flagship product, Foreseen, is among the most advanced platforms of its kind worldwide and continually enhanced to meet evolving demands of video professionals. Because Forbidden understands that every production is unique with different post-production requirements, they're giving away a tailor-made prize, £1,500 Foreseen package, designed and implemented by Forbidden Technologies to offer the most value for the winner's production. Whether the winner walks away with a few licenses for an extended period or full specification for fast turnaround, the choice is theirs. So,
it is worth saying this one is limited to UK participants, Western Europe. We have got that limit. No, we'll have to hope that they are.
So that's a little bit that.
So if you're outside, I apologise. Go on. Let's hope. Right, here we go. Jason Hall, DOP, Jace CD Limited. Well done. There we go. Jason Hall. He sounds English enough, doesn't he?
So we'll put Foreseen or Forbidden Technology in contact with Jason, and
you'll get in touch, and hopefully, we get a good review.
Get a good review. Finally, the pièce de résistance is a Atomos Blade with an Atomos Spider combination. So I don't really think we need to say too much about it. We
need that over
just
there.
give the box back to our box fillers.
I reckon.
There's a whole team of elves.
John wants one of these already, anyway.
Well, actually, that was the final question. Can John have a spider?
Of course.
Should we just say no?
Of course, John can have a spider.
He'll have to work for it.
He'll have to turn up. Okay, so this is.
And then you can blame him when your colours are all wrong.
Absolutely.
Well, he gets blamed for most things. So this is for the blade and spider combination.
Paul Davies, owner, BWP Photography. Well, let's hope he's going into video.
There we go.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Paul.
There we go, Paul Davies. There you go. Congratulations. It'll be on its way. Not tonight. So
once again, you can probably read all about those the prizes and reviews in forthcoming issues of TV Bay. If it hasn't landed on your doorstep yet, this is the latest issue just out. And if you're very lucky, it will have a copy of the 2014 TV Bay wall planner to plan your staff and other things over the year. So there we are. Thank you very much to our guest, Darren Godwin from Matrox, Big Al from Tor Supply, and of course Richard from Global Distribution. Huge thanks to the companies who have offered these great prizes for today's show and supporting us so well during 2013.
As usual, we must thank our equipment sponsors, Panasonic for our cameras today, the HPX 250s and the HPX 600s, Cirrolite for the lighting, Sound Network for the DPA cheap mics, Vinton and Ian Eero for the support, Unicol for this magnificent stand for our monitor, Argosy for the cable and infrastructure, Tariam Satellite Solutions, who are the only KA provider with fibre from the teleport to London Telehouse, the AutoCue studio system, and lots of others. And we'll, go to the website to see them all there.
The show will be online, hopefully, in a few hours, should you need a recap of anything. But do make sure you follow us on Twitter @BroadcastShow for the latest news. We'd like to, thank the team here that helped put this show together and wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And until next time, goodbye from us all.